So we're gonna make a steak salad. This is a really good lunch, especially if you're on a calorie deficit or you're aiming towards weight loss, because it has high protein and it's also very low in calorie and high in volume. It's really important if you are trying to lose weight to eat foods that are high in volume and low in calorie. That way you're not starving the whole time you're trying to lose weight. So as you can see right here, I don't know why I said it like that. I'm cutting the steak in long pieces, and then I'm going to cut them in shorter pieces. Now, the reason I'm cutting in short pieces is because when you cut it into short pieces, the seasoning has more area to go around, instead of like having those areas in the middle of the steak where it has no flavor and then cutting it up. You don't want to do it that way. It's way better to just cut it up if you want better flavoring for your steak salad. So this is how the little pieces should look. I took 2 pieces of steak because I'm doing it for me and my fiance, so that's why there's so much steak in here. So I'm gonna transfer it into a bowl now, and this is where I'm going to be seasoning the steak. And by the way, yes, I washed my hands before this. I washed my hand a couple of times in between me making this. So we're gonna first grab the black pepper, and I like to use this one because you could just like crack it, and then it usually has more flavor to it than if you get like the powdered version. I didn't know that until like I started using this, and I could really tell the difference of flavoring. Then I put a little bit of paprika, and this adds a little color and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to put too much. It looks like I'm putting a lot, just putting a little bit. And I usually don't use salt. I just use adobo, and I just put it on there. I put a little generous amount, and the reason I do is because it's mixed with other herbs and stuff, so it's not straight up salt. So this way it's easier for me to control the salt in it. Then I put some garlic powder, and I do go in with the garlic powder because let me tell you, no sodium. It's just garlic in powder form. I'm going in. And then I'm going to grab the olive oil and put a generous amount and mix it up and stir it up there. And if you guys are afraid of like knowing how much seasoning you should put and shouldn't put, smell the steak. It's going to let you know if it needs more seasoning. Smelling it can really let you know. That's a tip that I use every time I'm cooking, because if I can't smell it, or if I smell it and it doesn't smell good enough, then it's not going to be good enough, and I need to, season it a little bit more. But right here I'm giving it a good mix, and then I'm going to get butter and put it on the pan, and I put the pan on a low because it's a metal pan and you don't want it to burn or anything like that. So I just let the butter melt, and I kind of stir it just to make it go faster. But it's really important to not let your butter burn. Burnt butter can mess up your steak. Then I put some onions that I chopped in there, and as that was cooking, I put some garlic inside my steak, and I'm gonna wait until the onions caramelize or whatever, get a little bit brown, and then I'm gonna put the steak in. I know it doesn't look that much brown here, but it's because of the camera. But put the steak in while it's there. Everything is still on low heat as much as possible. And I had some extra steak, so I'm making 2 steak salads for me and my fiance. And yeah, that's on low, as you can see, and it's like steaming, and that's gonna sweat out. So while that's already almost done, I'm cutting some iceberg lettuce, and the reason is because this is 0 calories, I believe, and that's gonna make it more low calorie, and you get as much salad as you want. So now, after it's already cooked, I'm transferring all of the steak inside of the bowl, but I'm going to leave the sauce left over because we are going to make our own dressing, and it's going to be a low calorie dressing. So that way, we're not like suffering and having to like have a flavorless salad. So put some Greek yogurt in there. This is once the pan is already mostly cooled, and you're gonna stir it until it's like a thicker consistency, depending on how much you like it. You could add more seasoning if you want. Now I'm gonna put some celery in there, and this is also very low in calories, but you could put as much as you want because it's one of those things that you could. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get more volume out of a low calorie food, so you're not starving during your calorie deficit. So now I'm putting all the ingredients in. I'm putting the lettuce, iceberg lettuce, and the celery, and everything's in there. And then we're gonna take the sauce that we made with the Greek yogurt with the leftover juices, and we're gonna pour it in there. And then I'm just gonna give it a good toss and a good stir, and mix up all those flavors and stuff. Now, I did want to show you guys another salad that I did with the same steak and the same sauce. I just added tomatoes, and instead of iceberg lettuce, I added spinach. Iceberg lettuce is 0 calories, and then raw spinach has just a little bit. So I did add some cheese on this one too, and feel free to do that because it's a little bit, but that's it. And that's